Hey guys, we went to Melbourne a while back and we came back ill, and I haven't been feeling great for a week or so. But a buddy of mine asked me, and you saw me in my last video singing the praises of the FG knot, which is a really great knot for tying braid to mono. So what I'm going to do here briefly is, or shortly, is switch cameras and show you how to make an FG knot and a couple others that I didn't want to make a knot video with so many knot videos out there while I could just, when I had nothing really new to contribute, but I think I do. I've got a couple of little extra things to add, except for some of the other knots, just to fill time. So without much more delay, I'll get right to it. Okay, we're going to start with the FG knot. We're going to pretend that this is braid and this is monofilament or fluorocarbon, and the fishing rod is over that way so that you've got a little bit of give, you've got some flex, and then I've got a weight tied over on that end, which you would normally just anchor it to something solid so that you've got good tension on the line. And what I'll do with the monofilament, I use monofilament. What you'll do with the mono or fluoro, I'll wrap it around my pinky a couple of times so that I've got back tension on it. Cross over the braid, just like that. And then I usually go back toward the rod, but I'm not sure it matters. And you go around the braid with the end of the mono and pop it tight. You see that? Crisscross on there. And then you go the same way around, like if you're going this way, then keep going that way, cross over the other direction and go around and pop it tight. Keep going around. You're basically just going in circles around the braid with the mono and tightening it as you go so that you get these overlapping, crisscrossing interlocks. And you want to go back and make sure that snugs down on you, and then you keep going the same direction, circles, make a circle around, keep circling around. And I'm going to do this a few more times. I can't cut this end, so what I'm going to do is just go up to the end, and you just keep circling around and tightening it back. That's getting super tight. And it will do that too if you're not careful. So you also have to be careful not to let your mono kink up in there. Just keep right on going. This is actually tighter than I wanted it to be, although it would be perfect for a mono to braid. Now I'm going to take some weight off so that I can finish cranking this up. You get your wrap, go around, and if it gets too tight on the reel, you can either crank some of the drag, let it off a little bit, whatever. And I have this, my anchor obviously is another tripod. Who knew it would take that long to get that undone? I'm going to let some slack off the other end here. And you see I've got a grip on the knot so that it doesn't come undone. And then to finish, you want to lay your mono and braid or fluoro in the same direction. You want to make a half hitch. So you flop over and come through the end just like that. And you see that half hitch forming there? Half hitch it down. And then you do one more half hitch. And make sure that half hitch is nice on there. You can do a third or fourth if you want to. But now you can let go of the knot. And it's kind of done. But you get a couple more half hitches on there. Normally there would be a bunch of mono sticking out here. Just leave it sticking out. You want to cut it off right next to the braid without cutting the braid. You got to do it carefully. I'm going to put one more half hitch just for realism. And then when you get that done, whoops, when you get that done, you want to get a hold of you want something to wrap your braid around that isn't your hand, because the braid will actually just slash your hand up. But for this, I'm going to use my hand, and you get a good grip on the mono, and you pull that knot so that it cinches down in and bites into you'll see it physically bite into the mono or fluoro. And then when you have this nub end from your monofilament or fluorocarbon, put a couple more half hitches above it. And what that does is the half hitches will create a fat spot right there and help that nub end of the mono get through the guides on your rod. And a couple more just to make sure. And you can cut this, get it nice and tight, and you can cut this off like close, very close. And it'll fray and have a fuzzy spot. But there you have, this is an FG knot. Now I'm going to see if I can just zip this out. Nope, it won't zip out for me, so I'll take it apart, and in a minute I'll show you a couple of fish hook knots cinched on there pretty good, especially that beginning part. Okay, now we're going to pretend that this is your mono or fluorocarbon or whatever it is you prefer to use. And I'm going to start with the simple knot through the eye of the hook. Leave yourself a good tag end. Stuff's cheap. Don't be ridiculous. And go around the standing line with the tag end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to 7 times. It depends on the size of the line. And come back through, if you can see, the loop next to the eye. And the reason you don't twist it is because if you let go, it untwists. If you do this and you can let go, it won't untwist on you. So wrap around the eye, around the line, go through that opening next to the hook, and then come back through again the opening that you just made, and start to work this tight. As it starts to turn snug, you want to lick that knot or spit on it or pour water on it or whatever. And it's to reduce the friction as you tighten it, because as the friction heats up the mono, it degrades the plastic, and it actually breaks down the knot and creates a weak knot that'll break. But if you lubricate it a little bit, it'll tighten down really nice. This tag end, you want to cut it down to about 1/4 inch. You want to leave some. And the reason for that is you can't get a knot perfectly tight, and you may not necessarily want to. You may not want to clamp it way down. But you do want to get it really snug and leave a little bit of tag end, because if you hook something big and there's no tag end, that's going to put a lot of stress on that knot, and you might actually have that tag end pop out. And if that pops out while you're trying to reel in a big old fish, this knot's just going to strip off. Fish is going to leave with your hook. You're going to reel in a curly cue, and you're going to have a bad day. You're not going to be happy about what happened. So that was the improved clinch knot. And that's a simple, easy, also called the fisherman's knot. It's a good knot that works really well almost all the time. And then you can see that when I made this fake copper hook, I bent the end a little bit. That is a cue from the hook telling you that the hook wants to be snelled, that it should be a snelled hook, not the knot that I just used. So you go through the loop, through the hook eye, be generous, it's cheap. Then come back through the same eye again, so that you've got a loop hanging through the eye like that, right? You see that. And then you take your tag end. I'm going to do this a little bit more so that you can really see it. Take your tag end and go around the shank of the hook and the loop that you made. Just go in nice even circles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whatever fits comfortably on the hook and you're happy with is what you want to do. And then you poke the end through the loop that you made. You hold on to that end. Don't get the hook in your finger. and pull. Once again, you want to lubricate or wet that connection, but there you have a snelled hook. And there again, leave a little bit of tag, but not a whole bunch, like a 1/4 inch or 3/16 or whatever. Just enough to make you happy. There's a Palomar knot that's supposed to be really good. I've never really studied it. I don't know how to make it. If you want to look it up online and practice it on your own, you're certainly welcome to. And there's one more knot that I use all the time for my pompano rigs, and well, two more. This is a simple loop that you'll use to put your weight on. And what I'll do is you take that, double it, make just your basic granny knot with the double over. Okay, and then you go through again and put your second granny knot. And you pull that tight. There again, lubricate, spit, whatever. And that loop end you can attach to your swivel on your main line, or you can push. How about I use a padlock? You can push it through your fishing weight, and let's hope this loop's big enough to go over it. You put it through your fishing weight and go through it like that and pull it down, and now you've got a weight on there. And then farther up the line, let's take this off and we'll pretend that we're going farther up the line. No, let's leave that there. Go up a little ways on your line. And people make jigs, like they make these little boards with pegs on them so that you can tell exactly where you're supposed to be. I always eyeball them. They don't come out even, but so what? So this is a dropper loop. You crisscross here, and then you start working that loop end. You start looping the crisscross, and you see what I'm doing? I'm twisting those two. And you do that about 5 times. And careful not to let it come apart. You pull that end through there, and you begin to massage this tight and you usually hold this in your teeth, but I'm not going to. You hold this loop end in your teeth so that you can pull on this. But let's just pretend. And you see how that cinched down. Same thing, wet the knot as you tighten up. And then you put your hook in there, and you put like your beads, your float, or your float, then your bead, then your hook. And you want to put the hook through like that. And I'm not sure I've got enough slack in this. I don't. I didn't leave enough slack. Let's redo this. And I'll do it with my teeth this time. Okay, so that's pulled tight. And then you do your float, your bead, and then you put your hook on like this here, and you loop around the hook, and you pull it too. And you've got the hook on there. And then you've got the weight down here. So you've got the drop and then the weight. And you can go up and do, I usually do one more for a pompano rig about a foot away. You can do 2, 3, whatever. And then you just make another loop like this. You snap it onto your swivel, or you tie it directly to a swivel without a snap. Okay, so that's all the knots I'm going to do for today. And hope you enjoyed it. Click like, click subscribe, tell your friends. And we'll see you next time.